So what are the challenges? And I put them all in one place, but I'm sure that these are all challenges that you've lived, if not read about before. But the challenge to us today is to find ways around, over, under, through if necessary, but sometimes that's more difficult. And that's the challenge to everyone today and as we move forward. The first challenge is that mythical vision that we keep hearing about of the single all-encompassing e-health record for each individual. We see it in the press and in particular other media outlets. But I think if we let go of that mythical vision, it will enable us to open our minds to a whole wealth of opportunity and different ways of achieving the same objective and the same end. People also have high expectations, and I count myself among those. Based on our experiences with e-systems and other industries, whether it's banking or airline industry or any other industry, we've come to expect a lot of our e-systems as reasonable and nothing fancy and nothing unusual or on the leader's zone anymore. We're entitled to the health expectation for standards in terms of that maximizing whole e-health lower to give that, to deliver to the patient and the client and their family the information that they need to participate in their care. Politicians like revolution, and by that I mean they need results now. Not that they want to be overthrown. But they need the results now. There's an initiative that's been announced. The voters, the voting public, the taxpayers want to know that the money that's being put to that initiative has made a difference and has made a change, and we're not very patient from that matter. But our providers and bureaucrats are more inclined to evolution. We want to study it, we want to consider options, and it's all very important. Evaluate and pilot, and then let's study again, and maybe start the process anew. And I don't know your experiences through your career, but I'm sure many of you have been in one of these cycles, if not a few of them, where the actual action and final implementation is either doesn't ever happen or is a very long time down the road. But the days of 10-year pilots are over. We don't have the time to do that any longer. Organizational culture and not correct structure to protect themselves, and that's just wrong leadership. Great vision, it's not wrong. The ability to act quickly, take structurally, to break with greatest barrier, and to act. We're all are very successful right now, and to drive that successful culture to innovate when it means conflict to what you're doing today and the way your people work today and interact with each other is a very difficult challenge to overcome, but critical to the success of any initiative, in particular an e-health initiative. And that's because of the point number 2 on this slide, and that is that successful e-health systems require rethinking our processes from end to end, from the beginning right to the end and all points in between, especially those points of transition where it goes outside of your building or between various parts of your organization. And that's the roll up the sleeves and get the elbow grease going kind of work that stops a lot of us. It's not about automating what we have. It's about completely rethinking what we're doing, and that's where the strong leader who's able to have that vision and bring that energy to the project is a critical success factor to moving past this one. Time intensive and a lot of work, but absolutely required to be successful. I thought that I was doing an interest review had a reminding a quote about this, and that is the mission and integrating unnatural self for large corporations. Businesses are better at stifling innovation than at capitalizing on it, and better at optimizing local operations than integrating them for the good of the broader organization, or in this case, the bigger health system and its customers, and in our case, its patients. I mean, this is said in industry, but it's also true in health, and very true. And that's a challenge for us to remember as we're designing our vision and our project and implementing and driving through to success. That it isn't natural, and if we acknowledge that, we can design in a way to move past it. And organizations, all of you, and government have already invested a great deal of money, and it's not about the e-health money and where did that money go. Many years, the systems that you have in place, the systems that you've replaced over the years, a lot of money has gone into that. And whole-scale change is just not fiscally viable. So waiting for some magic big system, we can't afford it as taxpayers. what are the answers? And I have a question mark because I don't necessarily have the answers. I'm looking for all of us, our provincial colleagues as well, for these answers and they're coming together. Have the continued commitment, so I think was very, very clear. We provincial, I can assure that we have very strong support and direction. I think our IHSP is quite clear on that as you read, and I've gone through the priorities for change. And the providers, continued leadership from all of you and the good work that you've been doing to energize your colleagues, to energize the staff, and to actually take those good ideas you have and effectively implement them. I'm really looking forward to this afternoon where we have some of our providers presenting examples of what they've done and the innovation and the fact that they've got it through all of those barriers to success and are seeing results. And I think that feeds on itself and gets a snowball effect. So the more and more we can do of that, the better. A provincial e-health vision or framework that is solid, and we're looking forward to Doug today and talking to us about that. That gives us the house within which we are working and designing the rest of the system, implemented in a locally sensible fashion. And so our vision in the Southeast is one that says it's not necessarily one size fits all across the province because of the investments we've made and because all buses are indeed in many provincial we're working, but we all and have that makes sense here. An effective dissemination of localized success. We've had some great successes, small pockets, and we have to be much more adept at moving that success and seeding it throughout our region very quickly and in the province in more than pockets, but in wholesale ways. And that's all I have to say today. I'm going to turn it over to Doug.